So morning mates, liquidity is the most important thing we have in the life. And I think that liquidity can create wonders in the financial market. We all know that. Even if we compare the world financial crisis 2008 with the financial crisis we are facing right now, 2020, liquidity played a very important role. But unfortunately, liquidity also have substantial cycles, and these cycles needs to be discussed in an appropriate way, in an appropriate forums. But unfortunately, what is happening that these liquidity cycles are not being discussed in a right way it should have been discussed. So today I am going to talk about the liquidity cycle from an Indian angle. There was a time when the repo rate in India was around 7.25%, in fact higher than that. India used to flourish one kind of trade, and that is known as the carry trade. I don't know how many of you understand carry trade, how many do not understand carry trade, but it effectively meant that it is a trade whereby a low yielding income country, at that point of time it was US, because US was yielding 0.25%, will come and enter into a high yielding country, which Australia, India, Philippines, Singapore, and they earn the interest rate differential. So an American investor who is getting 0.25%, who was getting 0.25% at that moment of time, was getting 7.5% in India. With the help of three players, investor himself, the iBanker who initiates the deal, and the merchant banker who concludes the deal, they used to place a trade called carry trade. And carry trade was, I think, most effective trade India used to had. I again repeat, India used to had. Because investor made a lot out of it. They made a lot out of it. In fact, apart from the last 2 years, if we see that India received a handsome amount of money in the form of the carry trade. But unfortunately, when it comes to media never mention a word carry trade. Rather, they mention a word which is very ambiguous in nature, which is known as the foreign institutional investors is pumping money. So guys, foreign institutional investors pumping money for two reasons. Number one, they come in your country and they buy shares of that country. Because let me take an example of any big foreign institutional investor, BlackRock, Blackstone, Brookfield, Goldman, JP, they all have subsidiaries across the globe. They all have subsidiaries. Like Blackstone is very well available across the globe. So if Blackstone wanted to enter into any country, then Blackstone local unit will enter rather than Blackstone US will come. That would be tax conducive, that would be time consuming, and lot of regulatory is definitely away from it. But what is happening now is that when the 2008 financial crisis happened, the central banks across the globe started cutting the repo rate. And this, by various economists, are mentioned this as monetary easing, and good economists mention this as accommodation monetary policy. I'm with the second portion. I think it is more or less accommodation monetary policy. But unfortunately, in 2010-12, a voice started raising in the system, and that voice was that central bank, rather than mitigating the problem, they just rather than fixing the problem, they just give a form of painkiller. So assuming you are having a form of pain, and rather than getting a permanent cure, you are getting a painkiller. Now the question is, this painkiller will never, it might give you relief for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, but it will definitely not going to give you, I would say, the permanent relief from that disease or infection or whatever. Now, when I compare 2008 with 2020 COVID crisis, and specifically talking about India, India reached at a level when I really doubt that Reserve Bank of India left with any option for further cut in the repo rates. Repo rate in India is around 4%, which is historical low. And I think if RBI will cut further from here, then it will end up the carry trade. In fact, if you carefully notice that India is losing carry trade at a faster pace. Once again, if I speak from the angle of the media, that foreign institutional investors are selling. Effective February 2020, foreign institutional investors are consistently selling in India. And media is saying that they are leaving Asian economies. No, they might be leaving Asian economies. That might be one of the priorities they are having on their paper. But another thing pertaining to India is that they are not interested in carry trade. Right? So if this interest rate, which is repo rate, will cut from here, assume it is 4% today, if it is cut another 50 bips, and chances are very high because we know that the government is done with the stimulus package of 20 lakh crores. There are a lot of announcements done by the Prime Minister, sir, Finance Minister, madam, done with a lot of apprehension, deliberations, but still market is on the edge. We know that markets are on the edge. We saw lots of results this May, and majority of the results are off the track. We know that majority of the results are off the track, and in one of the predictions, Goldman said that the June quarter GDP of India would contract by at least 45%. Various research agencies are giving various contraction numbers to the Indian GDP. But the question is, as RBI will continue to cut the repo rate, the time deposit rates in India continue to cut, and this might reduce less than 2%. You know that Treasury Consulting is a company with numbers. We believe in numbers. So let's talk numbers. Today, which is 29th May 2020, page number 4, we got a heading that Indian savers should brace for more pain in this round of interest rate cut. So I again repeat, 29th May 2020, live mint, page number 4. In this, it is clearly mentioned that COVID-19 pandemic has prompted policymakers to rush to protect borrowers from its impact. Inadvertently, as always, the saving account holders in India will be the collateral damage. One sign of this is the falling interest rate on the deposits of the country's largest bank, SBI. This article talking about SBI, I think the article forgot to mention about the Kotak Mahindra Bank, who just 1 week ago cut the deposit rate. Previous to that, it was HDFC, and I'm not blaming banks for cutting it. I think banks are doing right job, because if a central bank cut the repo rate, it is the moral duty of the bank to cut the deposit rate. It's pretty clear. There's nothing wrong in that, you know. So often I go against banks, talks about their balance sheet, their disclosures, but this time I myself feel that banks are at the right place. And in fact, to support the banks, I would like to say that this is creating a major issue for banks, which is nothing but the immunization. So assuming Kotak Mahindra Bank, we all are from Kotak Mahindra Bank, and all of a sudden RBI comes in public domain and they said repo rate is being cut by 40 bips. Then the most powerful committee of any bank, which is known as ALCO, Asset and Liability Committee, they are on the crossroads, because the whole mathematics they made of the bank, the percentage asset, the liability, the interest bearing asset, non-interest bearing assets, and everything, this whole mathematics needs to be changed. And the time the bank have to change this mathematics is less than 2 days. So I am in the favor of the banks that it is pretty difficult for any bank to get this done, because you need to collate the data, you need to do the scenario, and you also do not know, by the way, is that RBI may come again after a few days and do this exercise. So that is also not sure. So in all these regards, the first collateral damage is definitely the saving guides. So I repeat this again. The unprecedented surplus liquidity rush to save of deposits and the policy rate cut so far has meant that SBI has reduced its deposit rate twice in just 1 month. Its 1 year deposit rate is lowest in 17 years, which means today is 2020. It means the 1 year deposit rate of SBI is lower than if we compare with 2003. It is lowest in 17 years. And maybe eventually, or maybe as the time would pass, all the banks in India needs to cut the rates. They left with no other option. Now this raises 3 scenarios for me. Number 1, Education and quality education is always a concern for people. That we know. Since it is a major concern for the people, we need to understand that not many people in India are aware about the mutual funds, and unfortunately not much education is being imparted on the social media about the mutual fund. In fact, I'm sure that many of you, those who are watching the video, might not sure how the portfolio of liquid is different from liquid plus, and liquid plus is different from floating rate, and floating rate is different from money manager. You know, I doubt that 99% of the people might not even aware about that as well. So there is nothing wrong in that. If I assume there are 100 depositors we have in India, then out of 100 depositors, 99 depositors will continue to invest in bank deposits, even if the interest rate will fall further by 100 bips, which would definitely be, because now the agencies, the economists, and a lot of people coming up in the public domain and talking about the India to have a deepest recession. Because I always bring numbers, so let's have numbers again. India set for deepest recession yet. India set for deepest recession yet. Professional forecasters veered towards a consensus that Indian economy will face its worst recession in 14 years, contracting by at least 5% in this fiscal. And by the way, remember that American economy also contracted by 5%, while French economy contracted by around 6%, Eurozone by 3.2%, Hong Kong 9%. Every economy of the globe is contracting. So professional forecasters veered towards a consensus that Indian economy will face its worst recession in 40 years, contracting by at least 5% this fiscal, a day before the Statistics Department releases the March quarter GDP print, which will partially reflect the unfolded impact of pandemic on the economy. Now, these are the following numbers which is being shared by multiple forums on the Indian recession. International Monetary Fund is expecting projection for fiscal year 21 around 1.9%. Barclays 0, Moody's 0, Standard Poor minus 5%, Fitch minus 5%, Goldman minus 5%, and UBS as of now highest minus 5.8%. Which means all the international advisory or rating agencies about India is giving a fiscal projection of at least minus 5%, right? It effectively meant that if the repo rate is currently at 4%, and God forbid the recession will seriously hit the Indian economy, and the chances are pretty high, you also know that, then RBI left with no option except to cut repo rate further. And RBI may cut repo rate below 3% also. That is also a chance. And guys, by the way, if RBI will cut the repo rate below 3%, it means that the deposit rates across India will fall below 2.5%. It means that majority, I don't know, even millions and millions of depositors in India are left with no option except to deposit their hard-earned money at 2.5%. And by the way, we do not know about this coronavirus situation as yet, because the cases in India is around 1.65 lakhs. That's more important. And they are growing at a much faster pace. If this trend would continue, sooner or later, they would be more than 2 lakhs. Prime Minister will soon take up a call about the lockdown. I think today, tomorrow, maybe day after, Prime Minister will personally or maybe any agency will come to discuss about that call. So we're not yet sure about the lockdown 5. And I think lockdown 5 would be more severe than lockdown 1. Rest is definitely the Prime Minister call. We will wait and watch about his policy. Considering that, I feel that in another 2 months, there is another battle which is happening in the financial market. And that battle is that the intelligent investors will move their savings from FD to mutual fund. But the absence of education will definitely deter that move, because most of us do not know about the, I would say, the liquid fund, liquid plus, the money manager, the floating rate, the short term. We don't know about the difference. Last but not the least, we also need to understand one thing very clearly is that if the repo rate will cut further, and the probability of cutting the repo rate by 100 bips is very high, in that regards, the mutual fund will also have a hit on their income, and that hit might be more than 100 bips. But having said that, this is a mark-to-market hit which would end up as a gain. So if I explain in simplistic tone that if the FD rate will reduce from here, then this is a loss to the FD guy. On the contrary, if the mutual fund will cut, the interest rate will fall for in debt mutual fund category, then this is an income for the mutual fund. So both things are completely different, right? To conclude my discussion, I would like to read one important paragraph, and that will substantiate everything what I wanted to convey. In fact, given that bank deposits are considered most liquid and safe, the flow of money into them has only grown despite the fall in the rates. Between 1st April to 8th May, which is around 1 month, 7 days, 1st April to 8th May, the bank deposits increased by 4.41 trillion. 1 trillion is 1 lakh crore, which means 4,41,000 crores, which means 1st April 2020 to 8th May 2020, the increase, basically the total deposits, the increase in total time deposit is 4.41 trillion. Nowhere it has been mentioned that how much goes to private bank, how much goes to public bank. So we assuming that it covers both. As against the increase of 1.46 trillion. It means that at least 3 times, if not 3 times, 2.5 times. It means that if I go 1 year ago, the increase compared to today is 2.5 times. And the cases like Franklin Templeton winding up schemes, AMCs, other AMCs are also, if not winding, they are cutting the exposure, the mark-to-market exposure, the markdown, the negative news about many corporates. I don't want to name, you understand which corporate I'm talking about. This is raising a concern of the people in the mutual fund because the level of education is pretty poor. They are leaving their money and they are investing in the deposit. So henceforth, Treasury Consulting feel that probably another 2 to 3 months, there is another pressure on the deposit rates. It may fall further. God forbid if US-China dispute will linger from here, the probability is pretty high. And now American President Donald Trump is going against the Twitter. So that is another scene which is created in the market, that he is saying that Twitter is a publisher. But anyways, I'm not an expert in Twitter in the sense like all these formalities, so I cannot comment further. But Twitter versus Trump is serious. And if Trump will go against China, then I think the mess is definitely on the cards. But I know that millions and millions of the Indian people, those who do not have any knowledge of mutual funds, they do not have any knowledge about debt funds, liquid funds and all, they're left with no option but to invest this money in the bank deposits and earn the rate of interest. This is the hard reality which we are facing, and I think we need to appreciate one thing very clearly is that education play a very important role. And absence of education can create a hell lot of issues in the market. So guys, understand that we are not made to invest our money in bank deposit. Rather, we have a lot of options provided our education is good. But as an organization, as a hedge fund, we feel that the interest rates in India is heading to less than 2% probably by December. Either it's an off-cycling cut or it is not an off-cycling cut. I do not know, but either of that, the interest rates are heading down. With this, we thank you very much, and I hope you like this video. And if you have any questions about our hedge fund, our paid groups, and anything, you can personally WhatsApp me 9899242978. And you know that on 20th June plus minus 1-2 day, our app is coming. We are taking Twitter 1-to-1, And this is a video app, rather this is a video treasury platform which we are launching, and eventually we would have a call center on that as well. So there is a hell lot of action which is on the way. If you have anything, any question, you're welcome to give me a call. My number 9899242978. Have a good time and talk soon.